Welcome back to the Walking Bucket. I'm Michael Waterloo, and I'm joined this week by a special guest, singer, songwriter, and all-around good person, Marielle Kraft. Marielle, how are you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. Nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you too. Thanks for chatting with me today, and just want to get right into it. You released a new song about what 3, 4 weeks ago, saying "What do I do with happy?" And when you listen to it, there's a pop-up that says the first single of the new era is here. What is that new Marielle Kraft era?
Ooh, good eye. Yes, I'm excited. I've been working on a full-length project, my first one, for about 2 years now, and this is the year all of it's finally coming out. So, what do I do with Happy? It's the first single, and many more are on the way.
Nice. And with that, there's a lot of kind of build up to it, and the marketing behind it was just fantastic. A lot of ice cream. We saw Jenny's ice cream down there in Nashville. The street team approach. What was that idea and the kind of response to that?
Thank you. Yeah, we wanted to just start a conversation around the song since it's my first release in almost 2 years, first new release in almost 2 years. I really wanted this one to feel different. I wanted it to feel intentional. I wanted to involve more people instead of it just being me on my indie team. And so the song to me feels like ice cream in the summer that's melting all over you because it's like so delicious and so fun, and also has that tension of trying to figure out how to allow joy into your life. And sometimes that can be messy. And so we sort of just leaned into this idea of ice cream and melting ice cream being the aesthetic. And since Jenny's is like the best ice cream, and we it started here in Nashville, we used that as the meeting point for my Nashville street team, to come and meet and to hear the single for the first time and to hang up some street team posters around town to promote it. And it's just been really fun to get to approach this on like a really grassroots level this time.
Yeah, it's super cool to sit back and watch somebody who's in marketing. I was like, I love that idea. And of course, I can always go for some Jennies. It's been talked a lot about how you shifted from teaching full time to kind of pursue music. What advice would you have to other people who are kind of looking to pivot their careers, but they might just be a little bit nervous to do so?
Rightfully so. It's really scary to leave the comfort of a salary and a community and benefits. For me, it was what did I wake up thinking about and what did I go to sleep thinking about? And all of my brain energy outside of the classroom was unintentionally, honestly, spent on music. What song am I going to write? When am I going to tour there? How am I going to get, this person to write with me? Whatever. And it just sort of became so consuming that it was starting to do a disservice to the job I was actually getting paid for. And so I kind of made the mental decision, in like the spring of my last school year, that I'm going to finish out this school year so strong and be super present and like crush this job as a middle school English teacher. And then this summer, I'm just going to give it 1 year of doing music full time. I have enough that I could probably float through a year, and I never went back to teaching. So for me, it was like sort of doing the mental math of where does my mind go to without me even trying, and how much mental energy am I spending there, and is that worth taking the leap if it's where my body and brain are already wanting to go?
Yeah, that makes total sense. You see that with a lot of creatives where it's just like, this is my passion. Let me kind of chase this. So kudos to you for doing that. It's very kind of inspiring.
Thank you.
And with the content, you seem to kind of really embrace that part of being an artist in 2025. One thing that really made me laugh and set me was the different playlists that people add your songs to, how artists are able to see those, and the gay ass songs that piss off your homophobic parents just had me cracking up. How important is that content creation to an artist who's kind of growing their fan base and kind of connecting to their fans?
I think it just is what the music industry is right now. I mean, we can go back and forth all day about artists shouldn't be content creators, we should be music creators, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, if you're an independent artist without a team of people doing it for you, you have to be that team, at least in the beginning. And for me, like I had to learn a lot. Like I didn't go to school for marketing. I'm not a graphic designer. I don't come up with those ideas immediately. But with just watching some of my favorite artists do like their content creation, you pluck ideas that you feel like might work for your brand. And one of those was the playlisting idea. I was like, wait, this is something that could show, A little bit of personality, but mostly be a work that's already done for me. I'm in the work smarter, not harder camp. And so I'm like, okay, Spotify already releases this to artists. I just have to go through and just scan quickly, pick a couple fun ones, and just show the public. And I think a lot of this job is literally just showing the public. There's so much that most of the objective public doesn't see about what goes in behind the scenes for an indie artist career. And for me, if I'm like, okay, I'm already in the studio making these mix notes, let me just record it really fast and just put it up. It's not me coming up with some crazy prank of an idea. It's just showing behind the curtain of something I'm already doing. Let me spend 10 minutes making it a post. And so I'm trying to allow that to be my rhythm instead of trying to spend like so much time creating ideas that will take all day to execute.
And that makes total sense. And you are an artist who does kind of like show a lot of yourself to your fans. Your openness about coming out, embracing your true self, the A Queer Love Story that you have, which is just fantastic. And of course, your song "I Kissed the Boy." Has it helped fans of yours kind of feel more comfortable in being their true selves from like meet and greets or anything like that?
Definitely. And that's been such a gift. It took me transparently many years to come out through my music and into the public eye. Even though, yes, it's 2025, yes, it's legal, blah, 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 like there's still so much internal conflict for some of us and a lot of strength and bravery that it takes to be who we are, especially when we grew up in households that maybe don't expose us to those kinds of colors of the community. And that was for me in the Christian household I grew up in. I didn't have that language, I didn't have that exposure. And so coming out and kind of sharing my story and being more transparent in my music and being like, I'm figuring it out too, and I found my person, but that doesn't mean that I'm still not discovering sides of myself, has really opened the conversation with my audience. And so often at shows, people will share their coming out story with me at the merch table, or they'll bring their partner to the show and be like, this love song is so us, and like, we want to tell you about our story. And that to me is like the whole point. You know, if we get to like be perfect strangers, but have this genuine connection through a story that was mine that I shared that's now ours, that's the whole reason that I'm telling the story and doing it. So, yeah, I'm so grateful people trust me with their stories, and I will always hold them, with care.
And we see that connection you have with your fans. Recently it was your birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
We saw a lot of fans sharing pictures and memories of you with shows. Was that something that kind of like, as a young fan, whenever you saw different artists, you're like, oh my god, if I could just meet them, that would be so cool? And then whenever you decide to pivot into music, you're like, I want to kind of give back to them? Or is it just kind of a simple thank you for coming out and supporting
Oh, totally. I mean, I try to really engage with my fans as if we're real people with a real friendship, you know? Of course, sometimes that comes with limitations. I'm only one person, but I feel like my favorite artists, when I was, following them as they grew and had some chance to meet a few of them, the ones that I remember the most are the ones that just treated me like we were pals. Like they would ask about my day and not just wait for me to praise them. They were like, "Hey, what's going on? Like the rain out there is crazy. Like tell me about how you got here." Like that to me felt so real and I was like, "Wow, this makes me want to be an artist even more because I want to emulate that attitude." And so I feel like because a lot of my listeners are going through the same life phases that I am, I can talk to them like we're peers. I mean, so many of us are like we're in this sort of late 20s, early 30s phase of like settling into our adult life, finding our person, or coming out of a really hard heartbreak. And like, I'm in that too. So it makes it really easy to just get to be like, I'm in your same boat. We're friends here. There's no like facade. I just happen to be putting out music on Spotify. And I think that's really paid off in the long run because I see people coming back to shows over and over and over, and that feels like it's not transactional. It feels like we're genuinely building a relationship.
and people are going to be able to come out to another show to see if they want to travel up to Milwaukee because you are playing Summerfest, which is awesome. I went up in Milwaukee in 2022. Went to go see Alanis Morissette up there. I drove up there, one of my favorite artists, met a friend. He's like, he told me all about Summerfest because it was on the Summerfest grounds. So I was like, oh man, that'd be so cool to see. And then I saw your post about that. I'm like, man, that is awesome. So congrats, that's huge.
Thank you.
And obviously that's kind of hard to keep secret for a little bit, but what was your reaction to hearing that you're going to be able to play there?
Oh my gosh, I was elated, truly. I've been wanting to play some major festivals for a while. I've been doing a lot of the minor festivals, regional festivals. I've done some prides, of course, and some of those are like major. But that major festival circuit with like, Bonnaroo and like Coachella and Summerfest and these festivals where you look at the lineups and you're like, all of my favorite artists are going to be there. I feel like I felt that way with this year's Summerfest. I was like, man, like Hosier, Natasha Bedingfield, Head in the Heart, James Taylor. I mean, these artists that have created me as an artist are going to be the same weekend that I am. And so it feels really, really cool. And I'm like proud that I'm going to be on that stage too and getting to like share my story this time as a part of like the artist side rather than the fan side. Especially this year when I'm releasing my debut album, it's like this is the year I want to get out in front of the most people and really push that momentum. So it feels like it's aligning that way. So yeah, my band is coming. We're really excited, and I'm sure we'll pull out some matching outfits and make a statement. It'll be great.
And it's going to be awesome. And you listed some names there: Natasha Bedingfield, Hosier, James Taylor. If you're there as an artist, but if you have to put on your fan cap and you like, I have to make sure I'm there for an hour to see blank, who are you making sure that you're seeing that weekend?
100% Natasha Bedingfield. Unwritten was a song I covered on my last tour, and so like that song has been an absolute like iconic moment in my life. I remember when it came out in 2004, like it was my favorite song. And I've never seen her perform live, so I will absolutely be front row for Natasha. And then I've also never seen Hosier, and I think with the trend going around with the Hosier yell, like his whole new music coming out, especially with Noah, I think it's gonna be slammed. So I gotta make sure I can get in that crowd and be there. And then one of my favorite artists, her name is Betty Who. She's on my stage right after me. So that'll be just so easy and very cool to just be like, what's up? Like, we're sharing the stage. I'll see you in an hour. So that should be really fun.
Nice. I have one more for you before we get into a rapid fire round that I end all my interviews with. They're very light, very fun questions. But before we get to that, what else can fans expect from Marielle Kraft this year? You were teasing a new album dropping 2025.
Yes, haven't officially announced it, but I can give you the exclusive. Um, the album, my debut album, my full length debut album is coming out this fall. We're on track for September. So that should be really exciting. A few more singles are going to come out before that, leading up to it. And then it'll be a whole album drop with no songs that you've ever heard before What Do I Do with Happy, of course. So we're not bringing in anything from the past few eras. So I'm excited for a whole clean slate. Along with that will be an album tour, and it will be across the entire country with like pretty much every city on the map. So I'm really excited. That's going to be this fall, right after the album drops. And that'll kind of bring us to the end of the year. So lots in the pipeline, but I'm really excited because I feel like I've been building this up and holding this secret for 2 years. So it's time to go. I'm excited.
Nice. We all know what we're going to do with our happy whenever that drops. So we are so excited for it. And now we'll get into a rapid fire round. All right. We hear Taylor Swift, Maisie Peters, Colby Calais a lot with comparisons and kind of inspirations. But who's an artist that may surprise people who's an inspiration to you?
Ooh, great question. Right now, I've been really into this artist coming out of the UK called Rachel Chinouriri. She's like this kind of like indie pop, kind of rock artist, and I've been channeling some of that a little bit more like intense energy in this new album, and I think you'll hear some of it when it drops.
Awesome. Awesome. We know about your crush whenever you were a kid, Troy Bolton, whenever you were 12 from High School Musical, of course. So be honest, are the High School Musical dances and songs still ingrained in your head?
Oh, we're all in this together. Absolutely, like 100%. I knew that entire soundtrack front to back, and I could probably repeat it back to you without watching it. Like I'm not even kidding.
Absolutely love that. We are soaring, we are flying, and we're gonna keep flying through these ones here. So, who is kind of your dream collaboration?
It's probably ambitious to say Taylor Swift, but I mean, top of the mountain is always Taylor Swift. I think right under that would absolutely be, Kelsey Ballerini. I think she's unbelievable. Maren Morris. I think I love that they're coming more into the pop lane. Their writing is like insane. So I love to write with them most specifically.
Love that. Cannot wait to see Maren Morris when she comes to town this year on her tour. Just a few more for you. Where did the name Butter come from for your dog?
Great question. I was a stick of butter for Halloween in 2021. I needed a last minute costume and I just ordered one of those like full body suit kind of things and it was a stick of butter. And we were just flipping back through our memories, my wife and I, trying to think of names that were like special to us. And there was one year where she was a peanut and I was butter. And so we were like, okay, do we name him Peanut Butter? No, Butter's even cuter. So we just ended up naming him Butter, and he's the color of butter, so it worked out.
I absolutely love it. I love hearing the inspiration behind people's pets' names. So now we know where butter came from. Two more here for you. What is your dream venue to play?
Red Rocks in Colorado, easily. I would literally cry. I will. I will cry one day when I play there, for sure.
Perfect, perfect. I was gonna phrase that a different way, like, hey, rank these venues, Red Rocks. But I'm like, I think it's gonna be Red Rocks anyway. So yeah, I'm glad that was the answer. And whenever you're on a long road trip or a flight, what are you listening to? A podcast, book, music?
Yeah, honestly, this last year, it's been all of the demos of this album. It's been listening through with no distractions and seeing how I feel as I listen down and then reordering it and then doing it again. And that's how I've been creating the track list for my album is exclusively listening on planes when I'm not with anybody else, when I'm not chatting, when I'm not on the internet. And that's been really cool. And I feel like a very like pure way of making this track list. So hopefully you feel the same when you listen this fall.
We cannot wait to check it out. The non-demo version. Marielle, thank you so much for joining us. Congrats on all your success. Congrats on Summerfest in Milwaukee. And we're looking forward to the new album and the accompanying tour. So thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. For everybody else, we'll see you next time. I love you, awesome nerds.